So actually my son and I were sitting on the front porch watching our puppy, which is a delight. I'm glad you all know. But we were enjoying ourselves, and he asked me what my talk was going to be about because I was trying to come up with a title and information, so he helped me. And this is where we came up with Fix the Broken Body, because I told him I was going to be weaving some things about my eyes into today's talk. And now, you'd think if I'm talking about fixing the broken body, I'm going to be talking about treatments and therapies and drugs and doctors in the system. No, we're not going there. That's a whole other thing. I want to talk about who we are and what really makes us what we are that truly fixes it all, actually. Okay? Why are we actually here? Are we here about money? Are we here about looks? Are we here about fleeting moments of pleasure? Are we here, for what? We're actually here to remember who we really are, which is spirit incarnate. We are incarnated as the Spirit. That's who we are. And that starts with the love of ourselves, self-love. And I think we've been misled as to what this self-love is, because people think it's selfish and self-serving and things like that, and it's not. Panache Desai is a guy that I listen to his meditations regularly, said it really well. He said, self-love isn't selfish. It's the sacred act of honoring your own worthiness. That's beautiful. In that, though, you have to realize how worthy you really are. And then honor how sacred and wonderful that is. And make that a part of your life and operate from that place of worthiness. Because things happen in life. We get our curveballs. We do sometimes feel broken. What do we normally do? Go into, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? Did I deserve this? Where am I going with this? Why me? Sometimes we spiral into that. If you get anything from this talk, this is what I want you to get. Nothing is ever going wrong. Everything is actually always going right. It really is. It's not always the easiest pill to swallow sometimes, but it is. If we can learn to operate from that, nothing is ever really going wrong. It's actually always going right. Okay, as a human, we like to fight that. We like to struggle against it. We like to resist rather than enjoy every moment, no matter what. Because you cannot fight and enjoy it at the same time. You just can't do that. When you're expending a lot of energy in one direction, you can't send it the other. So, Abraham Hicks talks about how a lot of times we're always searching outside of us. We're looking and seeking for the solutions, the answers, the analysis, all that kind of good stuff. Rather than just looking at it, that this is an opportunity. This is an experience. This is a chance for me to affect my own energy and see where it goes. And that comes from a place of alignment within ourselves. To create that space within ourselves for solutions to come, for solutions to show up, and to be open to those kinds of things just being in our life. Because it's the love that gets us through it all. Because when we look for solutions, we're expending a lot. But when we're within ourselves looking for the solutions, that's where the peace is really at. And it's that love and light and peace and happiness. It cannot be traveled to, it cannot be owned, it cannot be consumed, it cannot be earned. It's just the experiencing life every day and enjoying every minute of it. Loving every minute of it. Now, I understand there are things that happen that hurt, that have pain, that sometimes we feel sick and disappointed. Absolutely. I'm not saying ignore those things, because they are there and they need to be tended to, and we are humans and we need to process through those things. But it really is our perspective and how we think and feel about it that really makes a difference. Because being spiritual doesn't remove us from the world. We're still experiencing it. But the spiritual journey does lead us to a deeper, more fulfilled understanding of us in the world and how we operate in it. So, when you get your curveballs and things happen, who do you turn to? You probably think of some people in your life, places, things like that. How many of you, honestly, the first place you turn is inward to yourself? And how many of us trust ourselves? Okay? Understand, there's nothing wrong with touching base with people, because other people have had experiences similar to our own, but always understand it's filtered through them and through their experience. It may not be exactly like yours, but you could still glean some information out of it. But your best source, if you're looking for the greatest advice, close your eyes, listen to your intuition. It's going to be what's going to guide you, because your soul is your greatest oracle. So, a couple years ago, I was diagnosed with epithelial basement membrane dystrophy. I'm only going to say that once, I promise. So this is a genetic condition where the top two layers of my cornea were no longer adhered to each other. And it left that upper cornea, that layer, vulnerable. If I touched my eye the wrong way, or I bumped my eye, or sometimes, you know, like I don't have hair, but it would fling into my eye, and oh my gosh, it was like eating potato chips with a paper cut. It hurt. And anytime my eyes got dry, the lids would stick, and it was actually eroding that cornea. So yes, it hurt, it was uncomfortable, and it caused headaches. I did my human thing, guys. I took the minute to wallow in why? Why me? Oh my God, this is my eyes. Did I do something? Did I deserve this? Did I do something wrong? What am I going to do? Oh my God, I'm a healer. I heal other people. How come I can't heal myself? I mean, I just spiraled. I did my human thing. I took my minute until I could take my breath and say, you know what? This is an experience. What is it that I'm going to be able to learn from it? And what am I going to be able to share? I tried managing it for a while because I am one of those people that I like to try to do the more alternative things. But there is medicine there for a reason. There are times and places for everything. And it's an opportunity to use that. Went to the first doctor, did not like him. I was a number, I was processed. Had to stand up for myself, take care of myself, choose me. And then I found another one. He was awesome. I knew I had found the right guy. So, back to the experience and what I need to learn and how I need to share it. Again, Panache Desai gave like a visual that I think was kind of good. He said, everything we're going through, we're not only going through it for ourselves, we're going through it for everybody. Because we're all connected, we're all energetic, we're all vibrational, we're all frequency. So think about it as an orchestra. You know how there's always sections in the orchestra? You've got your horns, and you've got your piano, and you've got your strings and your percussion. Think about it as if like the horns are anger and frustration and stress. The piano is sadness. The strings are love and joy and peace. Whatever, make it up. So if Kay hadn't gone through what she went through and had the sadness of her piano playing, she wouldn't have been able to help somebody else that went through the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Because she knows how that sounds. She knows how that feels. So she can share her experience and somebody else can expand from it. It is our way of hearing and experiencing the music and life so that we can then share it with others. So with this concept, we can try to look at everything as a gift. Everything that happens is truly a gift, always, because it's all about that vibration, energy, and frequency, how we can share and give it away. Because our intuition and our soul is the vibration, energy, and frequency of the divine, of God, of the universe, of source. That is us, that is it. Remember when Beth, in her inspirational moment, talked about that presence around us? That's it. That is with us all the time, going through us, in us, and around us. You are never alone. And if you're feeling alone, it could be because you're disconnecting yourself. Ask yourself, am I open to this? Because it always starts and ends with us. So Eckhart Tolle says it pretty good. You are here to enable the divine purpose of the universe to unfold. It is how important you are. Did you get that? You're it. You are how the divine is expressing itself. That is phenomenal. That is amazing. That is awesome. On your worst day, that's awesome. Okay? Alan Watts continues it on in a good way when he talks about the meaning of life is just to be. Be the divine. Let the divine move through us. It really is that plain, that simple, and that obvious. But everyone wants to, get into this great panic and rush around as if it's necessary to achieve something beyond ourselves. Again, it starts and ends with us. People talk about the letting go. It's about the letting go of the past that we're hanging on to that's keeping us from being in the moment, or even the future. How many times when we do feel broken, are we future projecting? Concerns and worries and issues and things like that. Pull it back, be in the now, enjoy the now, no matter what. Instead of the rushing around, try stillness. I know, take a breath on that, I need to. Stillness, woo, okay, maybe I can try that. Because really part of the essence of who we are in our nature is to be still. Because in that stillness is the awareness of our perspective, how we think and feel about the world, and how we move through it as human beings. To stay present in your everyday life is in a way that is going to help you is to be deeply rooted within ourselves. Otherwise, this magnificent mind of ours is going to take us on one wild ride. If you're not centered inside yourself and deeply rooted to that intuition and to the core of who you are, the mind is going to take you on a wild ride. So, the procedure that they had to do was scrape that top layer of my cornea off, that vulnerable part of my eye. Yeah, it's as fun as it sounds. And now I look at this, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to be down for a few days. I'll do some journaling, I'll do some reading, I'll catch up on some TV. This really sounded smart when I was thinking about it, but now I'm going, what the heck was I thinking? I mean, come on, they're only scraping the surface off of your eye, sticking this bandage in there that stays in there a week, bouncing around and all that kind of good stuff. I don't know, it was another human moment. Because really, for like 2.5 days, I laid in bed with my eyes closed. Because you don't realize it, and thank God we don't have to think about it, but when you talk, your jaw moving affects your eyes. Yeah. When you eat, it makes your face move and affects your eyes. When you try to watch TV, even when you're squinting to one eye, the process of squinting hurts. But then whatever this eye's doing, guess what's happening under the lid over here? It's moving too, because they're connected. So laying there for 2 days. But you know what? Gave me a lot of time to contemplate, a lot of stillness and quiet, besides when my son was feeding me grilled cheese. So, what this made me realize, I've come a long way, guys, from college and that life I have, but it still gave me time to think about, you know what, I am in that rush. I'm guilty for being one of those people that is driven to accomplishment and doing, and still putting some of my value and worthiness in that doing, rather than just being still, and being worthy for who I am. So I had to practice what I preach, literally, and just be still and spend a lot of time with my inner self. I also had to learn how to receive. That is a whole nother talk, maybe two. But anyway, it was a lot of learning and quiet time to do that. And it also taught me that nothing is permanent. I could have stressed all I wanted, no matter what the experience you're having, good, bad, right, wrong, or whatever you want to label it as, it's going to change. It's going to be different. Hang in there, something's going to be different. The other thing I thought was interesting, and I don't know where this came from, but it really popped up, is I read and I listen a lot about the concepts of people that they have about heaven and hell, like it's a place to be. And my opinion, my take on it is it's not a place, it's a state of mind that we actually choose where we put ourselves. And sadly, many people are functioning from their place of misery. And that misery is hellish. It really is. So I invite people to open up to a different way of thinking, because the moment you start to look at something differently and change your thoughts and feelings about it, you're going to change all kinds of things in your life, all the way down to the chemistry in your body. Like when my eye reacted to the thing that held it open, my first reaction was like, oh my God, I feel like I've got this, swollen thing. And I'm like, oh, it's okay. My doctor responded quickly. I did exactly what he told me to do. It was fine. I'm okay. I'm all good. I'm good. So I want to share this story. This is funny. This is something funny and a little lighter about the perception and perspective of things. So I'm with this guy and I go shopping. And he buys some floor mats. And if you guys know, they come in a pack of like 2 long ones and 2 short ones, right? Front and back. And they're on this weird hanger. So we get ready we've checked out and we're getting ready to leave. We don't have enough stuff. We're going to carry it. Not thinking he's one of those that likes to park all the way at the opposite side of the parking lot. I end up carrying these floor mats. We're not even halfway across. And I'm not a weakling, but they got heavy. And I looked up at him and I said, how did I get stuck carrying these things? These are kind of heavy. He looks down at me and he says, well, you're doing it wrong. I hand it to him in his 6-foot frame. He lowers his arm and it dangles. He goes, you gotta let it dangle. I laughed so hard, there's not a person in that parking lot that did not hear me laugh. And I said, give me those mats back. So I dropped my arm to let those mats drag at my 5'2" on a good day, even with heels, it's still low. And there's a good amount of mat laying on the parking lot. And I said, you want me to drag these mats to the car? And he's looking down. Well, no. The perception changed. Isn't that so weird? And these little things that are simple, that are so understandable, right? But it just changes our perception, and that everybody's got their own story and own world. That's where you need to rely on yourself. So I want to close this off with 2 final thoughts. How many of you guys do to-do lists? Oh yeah, I know, right? Do you do it on an electronic? Do you do it old school on paper? And do you judge yourself though? Oh my God, I didn't enough of this done. I didn't do enough, and I'm going to do this tomorrow, and I'm going to add this, roll it over, all that kind of good stuff. Think about how you do that. Now, I'd love to tell you to throw it away, but I know y'all are going to panic and go into hyperventilation, so I'm not asking you to throw your list away. I probably couldn't do it either. I'll own it. But what I do want you to do is I want you to make a real conscious effort to add some things to your to-do list. I know, I'm actually asking you to add to it. How about being peaceful, being calm, being loving, being healthy, spending time with awesome people, doing awesome things, being the awesome person you are, and activities that support that. How often do we make these lists to get all the stuff around us done, but we're not tending to what really matters? Yes, put it at the top. Very good. Now, another biggie on these lists are things that we do. If you can, or as much as you can, stop worrying. Irma Bombach says that worry is like rocking in a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it gets you nowhere. It just expends a lot of energy. So, step back from worrying, step back from wondering, step back from predicting, step back from doubting. Have faith. Have faith in the things that really matter. You, your soul, your intuition, the divine. Knowing that things are going to work out. Maybe not how you planned. Oh, I didn't do any journaling and I didn't do any reading. But maybe it's turning out the way that it's meant to be. And that hopefully is you loving yourself more and more and more. Namaste.